Hello everyone and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7 and to another online video. I think this is the third in the series. Today we will be trying an entirely new format of racing, which is Trans Am racing. Effectively old cars, sort of mid-70s and earlier, and we are limited to 670 pp. A minimum weight of, I forget the exact number, but it's somewhere over a ton, so we can't use any sort of particularly light cars. This car is far from light, so that it doesn't matter. But yeah, we're going to start off with the Plymouth Superbird, and yeah, we will engine swap this because the original engine is not the greatest compared to what we will be up against. We need the engine swap to have the horsepower to be competitive, amongst a bunch of other upgrades. Goodness me. But anyway, this is the first race I ever did with these Trans Am rules. We're also limited to sports compound tyres and no racing tyres, and there's a requirement in this race to use both the sports soft and sports medium compound tyres. So straight off the start, a very mixed start by the field. Some people launching off the line very well. We were kind of average, and the old Skyline there in front of us not getting off the line too well. But we'll see how it goes as we work our way through the first lap. Not doing too badly so far. This car is a little bit of a boat, I'm going to be honest, but we'll see how it goes. Big slide there. We start to realize how bad of a car choice that we've made here, and oh, that's another moment there as well. So, you know, within two corners we've dropped a few spots, and yeah, it's not going to be long before we find ourselves all the way down in second last position, only ahead of the Cobra behind us as well. So yeah, it's not been a great start. I'm realizing I can barely put the power down even on the longest straight on the circuit. And this car is an absolute handful, and these guys were live streaming this race, and straight away they were talking about how bad of a decision I made driving this car. It's just silly. So yeah, that was not a great decision, it would seem. In my mind I thought, you know, the Superbird, it's a classic, it's got to be you know, half decent, but no, it's pretty much the single worst car for this type of racing. But anyway, as you can see in the top left, this is actually a really long race. It's 30 laps of Tsukuba circuit, so we're going to hang in there and see how it goes, and just get to the finish. For the sake of finishing. There's a little bit of a wobble even on the straight there, just for putting a little bit too much power down. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a grind just to make it to the end, but we'll see how it goes. I'm also kind of broke at the moment. I spent all the money I had upgrading this car, so you know, switching to a new one is kind of out of the question for the time being. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. Eventually the Cobra gets past us as well. We drop down into a last position, and that is where we will remain for the rest of the race, unless something extraordinary happens up front. But yeah, we are just going to push on to the end from here, and as I said, just finish the race for the sake of finishing it. We'll get a little bit of money for it, and yeah, that'll be it, basically. But anyway, we, of course, being this slow, have to deal with a lot of blue flags, and throughout the race I was being very careful not to get in anyone's way, and yeah, we continue to race on. Eventually we do make it to what will be our final lap, lap 25. Everyone else did 30 laps in that time. The Cobra actually went into the pits and never came out, so we did pass them as we crossed the line to finish the race 5 laps behind. But hey, it's a finish, and yeah, it was certainly an interesting experience driving this car. But after this race, you'll see the name TPGN Jester there. He was the one running the show, and he actually gave me a setup, a tuning setup for the Superbird, which made it significantly better. I improved on my lap times I was doing in this race by a couple of seconds, and you know, in future the car was still an absolute boat. It's still not a good car to race in this category, but it is much better than what it was in this one. So yeah, that was good. And since this race, I have continued to race in these types of events because they are a lot of fun. So yeah, we'll see what happens next, because we are now heading to Le Mans. Just 4 of us in this one. Typigan Jester driving the Lamborghini. You gotta be joking, driving the BMW. Alphabet Fat Furby driving the Nissan Skyline. We're in the Plymouth again, of course. This time we have a livery of our own design on the car as we get racing here at Le Mans. We've got a stop sign on the back, give way sign on the front. Don't think that's going to help us. We've also got hello written on the back and bye written on the front, because that's probably the order people will see the ends of our car. They'll see the back, they'll go past, and then they'll see the front. So they get the hello and the goodbye. That was the idea anyway. We get racing here at Le Mans anyway, and we actually managed to get the jump on Ferbs off the start line as we race our way through the first sector for the first time. Jokin and Jester starting to get racy for the lead already, as we are holding up Ferbs through the first few corners, but he'll make his way through very shortly, I am sure. He's given us the hurry up with a beep of the horn there, and with that little distraction we made a mess of the right-hander onto the straight. Ferbs gets through, and we return the little beep as he goes racing past. And now we head along the big long back straight for the first time. That's loud, as Jester makes his way towards the first chicane. Jokin in pursuit, and these 3 all starting on the medium compound tyres. Same rules apply to this one. You have to use the mediums and the softs at some point during the race. So we'll see how the strategy plays out. I started on the softs, whereas, as I mentioned, these 3 started on mediums, and I'm already struggling to keep up with them even on a better tyre compound. So yeah, it's going to be a tough race once again here at Le Mans, but we'll see how it all goes. But these 2 are absolutely flying. Ferbs is also very quick in a straight line. He's I think starting to catch up to the leaders as they make their way through the second chicane. That thing of Jester is actually both of those cars out in front look a little on the sketchy side, just slightly through there, but nothing compared to ours. We're just all over the place through every corner. It's not an easy driving experience in the Superbird, but we're doing our best and having a good time, and just trying to learn how to drive the thing. Jester's not driving very well, though. He's just gone off the road. Joking a little bit wide as well. Ferbs flying off the road. He's actually made the gravel trap there, deep into the gravel for Ferbs there in the Skyline, and we go off as well. So none of us really getting through that corner as well as we would have liked to, as Ferbs has a weird fascination with the barrier there. Not sure what that was about, but anyway, that allows us to retake a 3rd position, and Ferbs drops into P4. So unfortunate little mistake there from him. He drops to the back. Meanwhile, up the road, Jokin has managed to grab the lead from Jester in a straight line, and the BMW power is really helping him there as he hits the brakes into Indianapolis there, and Jester will be left to try and take that position back if he can. But that BMW actually has a Group 3 engine, basically a GT3 engine in it, I believe. So, oh, big slide there for Jokin on the exit, and immediately he bins it and gives the position back to Jester. That did not go well for him, and he'll drop back in behind once more. As I was saying though, it's, you know, because the engine in that BMW is basically a racing car engine. That car is generally banned or used very rarely in this series because it has far better fuel economy, etc., than some of the other engines that are available, such as the Hellcat engine that is in our car. Meanwhile, into the pits comes Jokin for his pit stop, getting rid of those medium tyres that he started the race on, and he'll get a set of softs that will probably carry him to the rest of the race, or maybe halfway through. I'm not sure what strategy these guys are planning. Ferbs comes into the pit lane as well. He too gets a new set of tyres on the car. Jester carries on for another lap, so it'll be interesting to see how the undercut goes if these two are able to jump the Lamborghini. But Ferbs comes out of pit lane, and that just leaves Jester out in front with the track to himself and no one else in sight as he makes his way along the straight. We now run in second position, quite a way back, and still yet to make any kind of pit stop in this one. You get a good view of the unusual livery on our car from that angle. The weird fan design around our front wheel, by the way, is actually the Shell logo, just super enlarged, just like the top part of it. Anyway, we make a mess of the braking zone once again into the end of the back, yeah, the end of the back straight. What's that corner called? Mulsanne corner, that's the one. Anyway, so that happened. Meanwhile, behind us, Jokin did more or less the same thing. Yeah, we're all continuing to struggle with that corner throughout the course of this race. Here comes Ferbs. Is he going to do the same thing, or will he figure out how to make this corner? Looks like he got through there nicely. So one of us is learning as we go through this race. End of lap 2, and Jester comes into the pit lane for his pit stop. Nice and smooth there into the pit lane. That was nice. We skip to when he enters the box. A new set of tyres goes on to the Jestermobile, and we'll see where everyone where he emerges relative to the field. We're still going without making a stop. We actually will take the lead here and immediately throw it off the road with just carrying a bit too much speed into that first corner. And with these guys battling for position, Jokin gets the undercut on Jester. We just pulled off the road. Make sure we don't get in the way there. Ferbs nowhere in sight at the moment. So the battle for the lead continues between these two as Jokin leads Jester, and Jester's binned it off the road into the gravel there. That's an unusual place to do it. I don't think I've even done that one before. But anyway, Jester gets going again, and he'll go chasing after us once more. But that's a costly bit of time loss for him, and yeah, we will temporarily reclaim second position. Of course, we are running out of sync in this race, still with a pit stop to make. So yeah, we continue on then down the straight. We'll see how long it takes for Jester to catch up. We do have decent straight line speed in this car, so you know that is one good thing about this car. The straight line speed is good. Actually, the brakes are really good as well on this car. So those are two zones of the circuit where we don't tend to lose too much, getting all sorts of sideways there on the exit, running wide as well on the second of the right-handers in the chicane there, and now Jester is getting the run on us in the slipstream. I've actually got a penalty as well for track limits, presumably at some point. This car is adventurous, so who knows where we've been in the parts we didn't see on board. But anyway, that is Jester making the move on us, and we will slot in behind. Just got Ferbs behind us now, so we'll keep an eye out for him. But we're actually going to be coming into the pits on this lap to put the medium tyres on. We'll run them for 2 laps probably, or until the end of the race. We'll see how good they are, and if they're no good, we will come in and put the softs on again, and just try and set some decent lap times. So into the pits we come then at the end of our stint, and you can see it's getting visibly dark now. The time progression in this race will mean that we are heading into the darkness over the next couple of laps. We have a lot of fuel to put on in this race. It's got to be said, our fuel economy is nowhere near what everyone else's is. This car is not efficient at all, so that is a bit of an issue. So here we go then, coming into the box, and we will get those medium compound tyres on and tick off the tyre requirements for the race. So we fill up on fuel, and we get racing once again as we exit pit lane, and you can truly see how far behind the rest of the field we are. Almost a minute behind. So yeah, we are lapping considerably slower, but still we will keep pushing on, and we'll just hope we can manage to finish the race. As I said, that is the target when you drive a car like the Superbird. Meanwhile, Jochen still leads the race out in front in the BMW, doing a decent job there, as Jester is still not too far behind. Oh, Jochen off the road there into the gravel trap at the Porsche curves, and that may give the position to Jester. It does, and oh, he's had an issue there coming back onto the road. Don't know what that was about, but Jochen there just doing an extra pirouette to be sure about it, and now gets going once again. But he's got plenty of work to do now if he wants to chase down that Lamborghini of Jester, who now leads the race. So anyway, going back on board with us, they're all planning to go to the end after pitting on the first or second lap. So they can do 6 or 7 laps on a tank of fuel, which to me seems crazy, because as we come in, a little bounce off the wall there on the way in to get rid of these medium tyres, mostly because I'm just not enjoying them. We'll put another set of soft tyres back on, but you can see we have the perfect amount of fuel to do the remaining 3 laps of this race. So we couldn't even do 6 laps if we wanted to. Our maximum range is probably 5. So yeah, we at a significant fuel disadvantage to everyone else, but when the car is as slow as it is, strategy and the amount of time you spend in pit lane is just about irrelevant. But anyway, we're going to get that new set of tyres on the car, and we can now race our way on to the end with some grip underneath us. Now a minute 40 behind the race leader, and growing. Meanwhile, we look back to the guys at the front. That's Ferb's now in the lead, spitting flames out the back of that Skyline. That is a major missed braking point there. But anyway, we're not going to worry about that, as these guys are starting to descend into shenanigans later in this race. I think they were just waiting for Ferb's to catch up, so the 3 of them can all race on together, and we'll see what happens now, as Jochen leads from Ferbs, and then Jester now in 3rd. So they've completely reversed their positions there. More flames coming out of the back of these cars, as it looks like these 2 are getting a little bit close. Jochen extending ahead of Ferbs now, and then Jester in 3rd. That Lamborghini looks very nice through the corners. A little bit, it seems like it can be a bit on the sketchy side, as I would probably expect from a Lamborghini, but it's very quick, and he's gained a bit through there on the little Skyline in front. And now we may see an overtake here down at Mulsanne corner, as Jester is right behind the little Skyline of Ferbs. Let's see if he can make the move as they enter the braking zone, and that looks very deep on the brakes for Ferbs there. He goes way off the road, well obstructed by many things between the camera and the car there, but he makes his way back on. And well, now they're just having an expression session down there at Mulsanne corner, as they're all doing burnouts, waiting for the other guys to catch up. And yeah, it's costing them a lot of time against myself. I'm now at the chicane, the first chicane on the Mulsanne straight, and making the way towards the second. So still a long way behind, but with all the silly stuff going on, we will be gaining little chunks of time here and there. Still don't know if it'll be enough for us to catch up, because we are just so far behind. But we'll see how it goes as they all race on once more, and all in a tight little pack here as they head now through Arnage, and oh, cars off the road everywhere there, and they're just slipping and sliding so much. Don't know if the track's got slipperier at night, or if they're just trying to drift, or I don't know what the situation is. Probably a bit of everything at the moment, but anyway, oh, that's an issue there for Jester, oh, for Ferbs and Jester, as Jester gets racing again. But yeah, it looks like Joken wants to get a move on, and Jester and Ferbs are just having a laugh, and leaving Joken on his own to lead the way out in front. Meanwhile, we are making our way towards that complex of corners, slowly and steadily, but as we continue to move on through the race, Joken still leading the way at the moment as he heads towards the final couple of chicanes towards the end of the lap, and they are all starting to close up behind, with Jester on the back of Ferbs. These two very, very close. Is Jester going to be able to go for a move and not into the chicanes? And Ferbs will hold on for the time being. But these two running a line astern as they begin the 7th lap of the race. And I think it's Joken in the foreground there. He was waiting for these guys. Jester throws it into the wall, and that's a big one for Jester as the other two continue on. But what happened there with Jester, as these guys are just, wow, I don't know, they're just burning time, and we are actually starting to get reasonably close at this point, as we're heading, through these last kind of wavy corners of the circuit before those last few chicanes. And now, oh my goodness, Jester, what are you doing? He's soaring through the air into the barrier. That was crazy. Jester, massive crash there, and now his car is stuffed. There is damage on in this race. It's light damage, so it will repair itself after a few seconds. But if you throw the car into the wall that hard, it stuffs up the engine, it stuffs up the steering, everything. The whole car just is terrible. But anyway, now these guys are again doing burnouts at the end of the straight at Mulsanne Corner, and putting on a smoke show. So yeah, just again costing themselves a lot of time, and throughout this time I'm still gaining and gaining. But anyway, Joken gets going once again as they all get racy once more, as once again Jester and Ferbs very close together. And now, as we've had a bit of an off there, we can actually pan back to our own car using the same camera, so that shows the amount of time we gained. We were a minute 40 behind, remember, and now it is almost nothing. And that is Ferbs on board with him now into the barrier. A huge crash there, and wow, the train horn of the Lamborghini as it drives straight through Ferbs' car there. That was a scary moment as we go on board now with ourselves, and we can actually see the yellow flags these guys are causing with all their silliness out in front. And there's Ferbs right there as we're going to make the move down the inside into Arnage. He's on the horn, beeping and beeping. So is Jester there, and we're going to pass him. And we actually earned ourselves a penalty for passing out of yellow flags. Don't know how that works, because they are all stopping. But anyway, Joken stopped on the side of the road as well, so that means we're going to take the lead of this race. Somehow, these guys have cost themselves so much time. It's fair to say they're not really racing at this point. They're just doing a stunt show behind, and that has allowed us to take the lead. Jester tried to chase after us, binned it into the wall straight away, so good job, mate. That was a fail. Just immediately crashing upon taking off. But Joken is right behind us. We're going to have to watch out for him. Ferbs, I think, is waiting for Jester to catch up as he gets his car out of the barrier and moving again. But we are now under a lot of pressure for the rest of this one. I believe Joken probably has the fastest car on the track, so we could be in trouble here, but we'll see how it goes as we continue to push on. You can see he's gaining and gaining on us already as we have now just one lap left to go in this race, and Jokin is already just on our bumper and ready to make the move. We throw the block down into the last few chicanes, and Jokin's not going to make the move there as we weave our way through these chicanes on board with Jokin. And you can see he's just easily able to sit right behind us as we begin the final lap of the race. Let's see what happens here. A little beep of the horn as we lead a lap in this race for the first time. And Jokin returns a little beat into the first corner. Now this is really tricky. We go very deep. We just about keep it out of the gravel trap on the exit. Jokin is still behind us for the time being. He probably didn't want to put the car on the outside given how much he just saw us understeer there. So it's probably a very safe decision made as we weave our way through these corners. I'm hoping we can just park it on the apex of every corner and manage to hold on that way, and I hope that we have enough straight line speed to hold off that BMW, because it is quite quick in a straight line, is that car. So we exit the right hander onto the straight, and now if Jokin's got more straight line speed, there won't be a lot we can do about it, but we'll see how it goes as we race our way down towards the first chicane. And at the moment we're looking okay. Jokin pushing us there though, and he is actually bump drafting us really along the straight. He's not going to just use the raw horsepower to get past, or perhaps that is all the straight line speed he's got. So we go a little bit defensive into the chicane again, showing him the outside line as we gently meander our way through the chicane. That's really the only way you can describe the amount of mid-corner speed this car can carry as we again accelerate along the straight. This is where this car is in its element, driving in a straight line, not turning the steering wheel at all. And once again, Jokin is right behind us in a straight line. We hit the brakes now into the second chicane, trying to go as late as we can, not wanting to take too many risks though. And the issue is though that you can see still hanging over our head in the middle of the screen is that time penalty we got for I believe it was passing Ferbs under yellow flag. So no matter what, we could find ourselves in trouble here by the time we get to the penalty line in a few corners time. Jokin's still right behind us, and we're coming up to the most difficult corner on the circuit by far. Everyone's been struggling with this one. I don't think I've gotten through here cleanly on any lap of this race, but this time we make sure we get it right. We take it a little bit slow and steady, but it allows us to maintain the lead, and Jokin is still behind us as we are getting dangerously close to the end of this race. There could be a race victory coming for the Superboat very soon. I do call it the Superboat for a reason. When Jester made highlights video of this race, he called it the Superboat, and that's probably a fairly reasonable name for this car. Anyway, we make our way now into Indianapolis, and we're coming up now towards the penalty line. So this is where our race unfortunately is going to come unstuck because Jokin doesn't have a penalty. So we actually throw the left indicator on here, and we will cross the penalty line, and now we have to wait a few seconds, but Jokin not going past us, and he's chosen to allow us to serve that penalty without making the move. So he's being very sporting at the moment. He gives us a big old shove back up to speed, and now we just have the Porsche curves left as we go very narrow on entry there, very wide as we try to make that corner. We do thankfully get through it, and now we are getting very close to the end of the race. Low fuel, but it doesn't matter because we're on the final lap, and we do not have far to go. Just a few more corners before the chicanes, and that is it. We have 6 corners left in this race, if you even want to count these 2 as corners. Jokin is still right behind us. Can hear the engine of that BMW in the background revving up But we're into the final major braking zone now, and we just need to weave our way through the chicane, slight tap of the brakes into all of these ones, and somehow we are going to do it. We'll hold off Jokin in the BMW, and we're going to cross the line to take race victory in the superboat. Little beep of the horn as we cross the line. Jokin does not finish second, he's still running apparently. Don't know what happened there, but that is victory in the boat. Goodness me. How on earth did that happen? We watched the moment again from off board. You can see how close he was as we were making our way towards the line, and then he never crossed the line. He actually had a bit of a spin there at the final corner and started to do a few burnouts in the BMW. He was probably as happy to see the Superbird win the race as I was. So he's celebrating, and yeah, just doing a lot of burnouts there. Meanwhile, Jester and Ferbs are still on the back straight. Just, I don't even know what they've been doing. Absolutely mucking around, doing burnouts and a bunch of other silly stuff. If you want to see more of that, check out Jester's highlights of this race. He showed a lot more of what these two were up to while I was scrapping away with Jokin throughout the final lap. I'll link Jester's video in the description. But anyway, that is it. That is the story of how the Superboat became a race-winning car. So there you go. Well, we got a fair bit of money from that too. And a 4-star roulette ticket. So we'll see what we get from that. What do we... Well, I mean, it's just from the daily mileage, so I think how well we did in that race isn't going to affect what we get. But we do get a Mazda RX-8, so, you know, that's not bad. But anyway, that is going to do it for this one. That is one of my favourite races I've ever done, that race at Le Mans. And actually after that I did update the Superboat livery, and you can see it here as we have a little look at the Scapes movies. I replaced the hello and goodbye and the giveaway sign. I wasn't really a huge fan of those aspects of the car, so what we have instead now is on the front it says winner, and on the bonnet we have a trophy with the what do you call those, like the wreath things wrapping around it, and on the back Superboat. We got rid of the hello and the stop sign. So yeah, I think that is a much more fitting livery for this car. But anyway, that is going to do it for this one, as I was saying. So thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. It is always very helpful. And other than that, I will see you in the next one, and goodbye.